right, welcome in everybody to Sports Profit TV. I've got another college football free play, little bit of housekeeping, 1-1 so far on the college football free play videos. First week I gave out Notre Dame team total over 33.5. That was a pretty easy one. I think it closed around 35 or 35.5, and that was an easy cash. Last week obviously didn't go as well. Took South Alabama plus the 6.5. And things just didn't really go their way. They were, anytime you're a dog in an environment like that, can't turn the ball over on your own end of the field, and you got to cash in on your red zone opportunities. And unfortunately, they didn't. They came away empty-handed one too many times. So college football video free plays moved to 1-1 on the season, but I'm feeling good about making this a regular thing, and I feel confident that by the time the end of the year rolls around, by the time we're getting to bowl season, we'll be up on these. So let's go ahead and look at today's game. Here we go. Let's see. All righty. So this is obviously a big game. Definitely two teams with probably felt different about their week one results. Oregon, obviously, I think they dropped like 82 points or something on Portland State. It was, I believe. And just bear with me today because I did have my notes for this video segment, and my daughter somehow ran off with them or colored all over them or something like that. So I don't have notes today, so I'm kind of winging it. Texas Tech, meanwhile, obviously, we're kind of on the other end of that situation. They went up to Laramie and got beat in overtime by Wyoming, despite jumping out to a 17-0 lead early in that game. I think it was even in the first quarter. And they just kind of let him back in. Didn't take care of the football. Didn't capitalize on their red zone opportunities. So let's look at this one though. We're at the time of the year where there's going to be a lot of overreactions because you've only had a chance to see, team A or B once or twice at the most at this point in the season. And I think that is potentially what's happening here a little bit. The line is set at 7, favored to the Oregon Ducks. Shout out to this little logo that I have here. I went with an old school Oregon logo. I thought that was one of the cooler logos that I found, so I'm rocking it. Look, I feel like everybody's forgetting that what this Texas Tech team is. They return 10 players on defense, and Coach McGuire is a defensive coach. For those that might not know, Coach McGuire was at Baylor when Baylor had some of the best defenses that the program has ever had, if not the best defenses in Baylor football history. And this defense is up there with some of those. I firmly believe that this defense is really solid. And like most good defenses, they're going to be even better at home. The offense was probably deservedly so under more scrutiny after that week one result against Wyoming, just because they weren't as efficient as they should have been. They've got enough speed out there. They've got one of the more efficient quarterbacks. Head coach is really high on Show up out there in Lubbock. And I really think that they can only improve. I think, like I said, not to overreact in regards to that Wyoming result, because Wyoming played their game. That was Wyoming's biggest game of the season. They had that game circled, and they played up. They played up to their competition. Texas Tech played right into their game plan. Wyoming ran the ball. Actually didn't run the ball all that effectively, despite some of the narratives being floated around right now in regards to that game. But it was enough to move the chains, and it was enough to control the clock. So Wyoming just kind of ground them to bits. That was the game on their schedule that they had circled, and they took advantage of their opportunity. However, this is the game that Texas Tech will have had circled for the entire offseason, and I don't think there is a bigger home game on the Texas Tech schedule than this game. And I think the line is probably gotten a little bit out of hand here, considering I think the look-ahead line was closer to 3.5 or 4 for Oregon here. And now, again, based off those week one results, Oregon looks great against, your little sisters of the poor in Portland State. No offense to any Portland State fans or alumni, anything like that. There was just, there's a massive talent discrepancy there, and it showed. Texas Tech got out game planned. To be totally fair, you cannot tell me that Wyoming is a better team, although Wyoming's not a bad team, and like they are capable of doing that to 80% of the schools in the country, up there in that environment with the elevation and just the style that they play. It's a good defense, and they've got a good run game. So I am taking Texas Tech +7 here. 6.5 on a lot of places. If that's all you have, I'm okay with it. I think Texas Tech, barring turnovers on their own, in their own red zone, stuff like that. Excuse me. I think Texas Tech will be in this game. So this is the one that they've had circled. It's not like this is a Texas Tech team that is replacing a ton of guys or has question marks everywhere. They've got their guys back, specifically on the defensive side of the ball, which is a big deal when you're playing at home against a good team. And looking at Oregon, Oregon's a good team. And I think that they surprised a lot of people last year. Obviously, they got drubbed at the beginning of the season against Georgia. They bounced back nicely and turned last year into a pretty good season. But they have yet to really have been tested on the road. So if you look at their road games last season, I got my schedule here. So they played on the road against Washington State, Arizona, Cal, and Colorado and Oregon State. 4 of those teams should have been easy dubs, and they were. Although Washington State actually did push them to the brink, and then at Oregon State beat them. I think the way Oregon State was built last year is actually similar to the way that this Texas Tech team is built. Solid defense. They're going to get pressure on the quarterback. They're going to be physical at the point of attack. And this Texas Tech offense is probably better than the Oregon State offense from 2022. So getting a full touchdown here, I think, is an overreaction. And we can take advantage of it. Again, public perception is a big deal, not just with the odds makers, but obviously with the betting trends. We've seen some crazy, crazy line movement in other games this week just due to public perception. People betting sides that they might not should be going so crazy on, but that's obviously a topic for another day. And we'll talk more about that tomorrow on the College Football Line Blitz show with my guy Lowe. Twitter Spaces, so make sure you guys are tuning in. Excuse me, that will be Friday, I believe. Let's see here. That's pretty much it, though. Like I said, I was just kind of having to wing this one today since my daughter did something with my notes. But long story short, I think the line is too big. I think this should be closer to where the look-ahead line was, 3.5 or 4 for Oregon. And I absolutely see Texas Tech getting up for this. It's not an easy place to play in Lubbock. The student section is going to be throwing tortillas at the Oregon players all day long. So yeah, tough place to play. I am a fan of what McGuire is doing there for the Red Raiders. And I think they're in this one with a chance to win. So let's hopefully move to 2-1 on the college football video plays, and I'll see you guys next week.